The sounds of nature. I have my best thoughts in the car. You know, like some people say they have their best thoughts like in the shower, or their best thoughts when they're like doing something. I have my best thoughts when I am driving. And usually I'm driving by myself. Usually there's no one with me, and I have my best thoughts. It's just honest. So I decided to place myself yet again in the place where I have my best thoughts. And I decided to sit in my car on this beautiful breezy Monday and talk to you. I don't know why, but I've been having a little bit of trouble trying to like articulate the things that are in my head, because I have a lot of different thoughts, okay? It's not that I don't have ideas for this podcast. I have so many ideas, and I get kind of really caught up actually, on trying to make each and every episode so specific to the topic that I decided to talk about that, I kind of just start to overthink every little thing that I'm saying, and, start to critique myself while I'm podcasting. And that doesn't work when you're podcasting. You kind of just have to just let it flow. You know what I'm saying? And I've just been really nitpicky when it comes to what I'm saying. And my last episode, I was talking about imposter syndrome. And if you've had imposter syndrome or experienced what imposter syndrome is, you might know what I'm talking about. But I've just been very nitpicky about every little thing that I'm doing. I've been nitpicky about the topics that I talk about and the way that I say things. And it's not helpful for a podcast. I want to feel comfortable and confident about everything that I'm saying. So I decided to maybe not have such a perfectly set out layout for each podcast episode, and just kind of just talk. I've tried going off the top of my head completely for episodes, and sometimes that works best. I'm not great when it comes to having this total perfectly set out layout of everything that I want to talk about, like point A, point B, point C, because usually when I have that, I don't know, I feel like I knock everything out, and then in 10 minutes, and then I'm left with another 10 minutes that I really want to fill, and then I start rambling, and then that's when I get nitpicky. So I decided today that I'm just going to sit in my car, the place where my thoughts flow the most, and just talk to my mic, talk to you. So anyway, welcome to the Introverts Talk to You podcast. My name's Kirsten, and I'm your host for this here podcast. If you're new here, if you decided to click on my podcast, thank you. This podcast is really just a chill place to have a conversation. If you're an introverted person, someone with social anxiety, someone that's not having a stereotypical college experience or a stereotypical experience socially in their 20s, this podcast might relate to you. And if it does, awesome. Today I wanted to talk about accepting your weird. Now, I said that in a TikTok post that I posted, and I was talking about accepting your weird. And what I mean by that is accepting all of those weird qualities that you don't feel like fit in, or you felt like didn't fit in when you were in high school or something. All of those qualities about yourself. It's time to accept those qualities, because those qualities are what makes you the person that you are, right? And this is something that I'm learning myself. We all have those times when we are laying in bed and we're thinking about that thing that we did back in 11th grade that was probably a bit cringy, and you think about it why did I do that? Why did I do that in front of that group of people? Why did I say that? Why did I say it like that? What was I thinking? Because that was embarrassing. That's cringy. Ew. And everyone probably remembers that part about me. And in reality, the truth is, no one probably remembers anything about you. Most people don't remember a lot of things about themselves. So I'm pretty sure no one's really going to remember something that happened to you or that you did in 11th grade that you find to be cringy. And those thoughts sometimes can keep us up at night. And I'm here to say, instead of just forgetting them, accept them. Accept those little weird things. Lately I've been doing this thing where I would think these thoughts would pop up in my head, and I would be like, oh my gosh, that was so weird. I wish that never happened. I wish I can go back and erase that moment. But then I stop and I go, hey, well, it happened. That was something that I did. that's the person that I was. I'm growing to be a different person, but that's something that happened, and it's over and it's done with, and I'm fine. It didn't affect me that deeply, and move on, accept that it happened and keep it moving, because you're never going to forget that it happened. So telling yourself that, oh, I need to forget that this happened, I need to forget that I ever did this, it's not going to happen. And those thoughts are going to just like keep popping up in your mind. That same annoying like memory is going to keep popping up in your mind, and you're going to keep telling yourself, forget this memory, forget it ever happened. It didn't happen. I wish it didn't happen, but it did. So instead of just trying to forget it, which is, again, not going to happen, accept that it happened. Accept that that was a part of you. That was a part of your personality that, may have been a bit cringy, but that's okay, because, again, that's what makes you you. I still have these thoughts about present day me. And when I was younger and these things would happen, I wouldn't stop to think, like, that was weird. Why did I do that? I would just laugh and keep it moving, But now, like, if I say something that may have been a bit cringy, I would stop and, like, think about it to a point where I stop talking and I become, like, really this person who is super overly conscious about everything that comes out of my mouth, to a point where that I can't even allow my personality to come out, because I'm so afraid of making a mistake or making a cringy decision and being looked at as weird by everybody else. Like, for example, starting a podcast. I wanted to start I started thinking about podcasting probably during, like, the lockdown pandemic, when everybody was thinking about podcasting. And maybe not everybody, okay, but a lot of people were starting to, like, do things like YouTube, podcast, TikTok, whatever. And I started thinking about it subtly. I didn't, like, really think about it in a way of, like, I'm gonna do this, and I never really think about anything in that way until it, like, really starts burning up inside me, and I'm like, I really need to do this. I wanted to start a podcast. I had an idea, and I held on to that idea for a really long time, thinking it over, thinking about, okay, so where am I going to promote this podcast? Am I going to use my personal Instagram account to promote this podcast? Because if I do that, then people are going to see it. People from high school are going to see that I started a podcast. They're going to listen to it, and maybe I say something cringy that reminds them of something else that I said cringy back in high school, and they're just going to think I'm just this cringy person that started a podcast. Like, in reality, no one really cares. No one really is thinking about you that much, because I know I'm not thinking about these other people that much that were back in high school, I'm not thinking deeply about Sarah from my 10th grade math class, whose picture pops up in my feed every so often. I'm not, honestly. If she started a podcast, I probably would scroll past that post, like it, be like, oh, that's cool, and keep scrolling. I may not even open the podcast, but it's not worth sitting there trying to figure out how you're going to look to someone else when they're not even thinking about you. And sometimes that's just how we think. That's just like, oh, these people are going to think about me if they see that I'm starting a podcast, or if I'm starting a YouTube channel. I wanted to start a YouTube channel since I was like 12 years old, and I never did until like my older years. I think I started my YouTube channel recently, like literally when I was 20 years old, because I finally this is when I started having those thoughts of like, who cares? If I come off as cringy, that is my personality. That is who I am. And that might be cringy to only one person. That's not cringy to everybody. Someone else might relate to my personality. You know what I'm saying? But obviously, those negative, intrusive thoughts always seem to win. But if we don't allow them to win, if we push them away, then we might win. We might finally do that thing that we've always wanted to do, like start a YouTube channel, podcast, and a business, anything. And that's kind of like, in my mind, like that's the things that I think about, because those are the things that I'm working on. When you first start your YouTube channel, you're kind of just, you're a bit stiff with it, you're trying to like appeal to any and every audience, but now as I started posting, more frequently, I started to let my personality pour out a little bit, and it felt good. It felt okay for me to say that little cringy line that, I probably wouldn't have said a while ago, but now that I'm comfortable in it, I say that cringy line and specifically make sure that what I said is still in my video. Like, I don't edit that out, you know what I'm saying? And I think that those things are extremely important, making sure that you are accepting those little things that make you weird or make you awkward. First of all, weird should not have such a negative connotation to it. The word weird, if someone's weird, they're weird, okay? And it's not like, oh, they're weird, like I don't even want to be around them, you know? I think everybody has their weird qualities. Some people might have weird qualities that you see more than others, you know? Some people might have weird qualities that they have behind closed doors. You don't really see those weird qualities, okay? They might do some super weird things at home that you would never know, but other people might be more weird out in the open and they're okay with it, or they don't think about it as much, you know? Accepting your weird is extremely important. I'll say accepting your weirdness is extremely important. And it allows you to grow and it allows you to feel comfortable in yourself. And it brings this confidence that you otherwise may not have, or you might have some trouble finding. I feel like it starts with accepting those little things about yourself that someone else might find weird. And you like it. It's what makes you happy. You might have a really weird, like a hobby that someone else might find not cool, but that's your hobby. That's what you like doing, you know? I remember in high school, and even now, I mean, I never really loved hip hop rap music. Okay, that was never my vibe. Not because it's not cool. I just don't. It's not the music that appeals to me. Like, when I hear it, it doesn't spark any like interest in me, you know. And as a black girl, I feel like that was considered weird. I wouldn't listen to that. I would want to listen to more like pop or R&B music, and even I think it was called almost like an electronic, you know, music. It was weird. I'm over here calling myself weird. Okay, listen, it wasn't weird. It was just different than what probably people in my demographic were listening to. So when I say demographic, I really mean like race, whatever. So I didn't really, I felt weird about it. I felt like, okay, I can't listen to pop music in school. I could be looked at as weird and someone's gonna make fun of me. I feel like a lot of these things are brought from high school, because like in high school you're like really judged. Like, you can be judged so easily by anybody and everybody, and you're around these people all day every day, so it's kind of hard to like just accept those things about yourself in high school, because people in high school are kind of mean, if I'm being totally honest, but we all, you know, we grow from it. Anyway, moving on. So I was like, I can't listen to this type of music in school. What should I do? So I made a playlist of only the hip hop, rap, and R&B songs that I could tolerate, and I was okay listening to, and I would put those in a playlist, and I would play those at school. I felt more comfortable playing those songs at school, just because if someone had found out what I was listening to, if someone saw my screen on my phone and said, oh, what song are you listening to, it could be a socially acceptable song for my demographic, right? And that is such a deep way to think about something. I feel like that is so, like, it's really not that serious, but when you're in the moment, it feels like that. That's what it feels like. It feels like you have to live up to this expectation, and really, I didn't really want to listen to that music. So when I got home, I would listen to the music that I wanted to listen to, and that was pop music. And now, as I get older, I'm so much more confident in my music choice. Now I listen to like neo soul, even like some indie, and like, you know, still pop, of course. I listen to those songs and they make me feel something. They make me feel happy, and they make me feel some kind of emotion that sparks an interest in the music, and I'm okay with it. I'm okay with listening to it. I'm okay with listening to that music with my windows down and feel like, who cares if someone judges me? Because honestly, no one's thinking about what music you're listening to, you know? I also felt this when it came to the way I dressed, okay? Now, let's go farther back, all right? And this is kind of a time when I wasn't really so self-conscious about like the way that I looked or the way I was perceived by other people. I was probably more like the beginning of high school, I would wear things like leggings with like a certain print on it, like a colorful print on it, or a sweater with a design on it, like in something that high school students don't really wear, okay? Especially in the high school that I was going to. High school students wear jeans, a hoodie, and Jordans. Especially the black students, that's what they would wear. I didn't understand the hype around Jordans. Again, not that they're not cool. I'm just saying, like, I didn't understand it. I wasn't a sneakerhead. I didn't get it. And I would wear, like, some simple sneakers, some Converse, and I didn't really think about it. I would wear sandals sometimes. I would wear boots. I would wear like knee-high boots sometimes. Don't put all of these things in one outfit, okay? This is not like one outfit. I'm wearing like colorful print leggings and knee-high boots, okay? Just these are just different days, okay? I would wear these things and I wouldn't think about it. As I got older and as I started thinking about it a little bit more and I was nearing my older years in high school, I started to tone that down a little bit because I wanted to fit in. I wanted to look cool. I wanted to in high school you want to fit in, you want to look cool. So I would start to wear the hoodies, the jeans, and I would try to maybe find a pair of Jordans, but I don't get it. I don't understand. So I don't feel like trying to make myself understand when something that I'm not really interested in. It's not like my thing, Some people, that's their thing and they get that and they're like super hype about it, which is cool. Be hype about the things that you're hype about, but that wasn't my thing. So I would try to do these things and I would try to train myself to be interested in these things that I wasn't really interested in, just because the things that I was interested in I felt were cringy or weird. They weren't the stereotype. Now, even my sisters make fun of me now. I will wear what I want to wear. As an adult, obviously, you start to, realize that no one really cares. But now I'll wear my wide-legged pants. These are the things I like to wear: wide-legged pants and a nice top and some maybe simple white shoes. Flowy pants. I love flowy clothing. And it's a fitted top, flowy pants with a fitted top, and it's very simple. This is what I like to wear. I would never wear this in high school because, first of all, it was a different time, different era. I was a different age, but I wouldn't wear these things that I wanted to wear in high school because I had a bit of a fear of being judged. Now, can we still have a fear of being judged? Yes, but I am more accepting of the things that I like, my music choice, my clothing choice. My sisters make fun of me because, they're in the high school age, and sometimes I get a little bit defensive because I have finally accepted this part of myself. And I'm not saying that, siblings tease each other. If you have siblings, siblings tease each other here and there. And, the wide-legged pants, the wide-legged loose-fitted pants, it's not their vibe. They're in high school-ish, and so they'll be like, why are you wearing those pants? Whatever. So sometimes, or why are you listening to this song? It's slow and corny. I don't know. And I will get a bit defensive because I finally, accepted this part of myself, and it's almost it reminds me of being back in high school in those times where things weren't so accepted. There was one specific thing that kind of brought me right back to high school. It's actually a story time. I went to the grocery store with my sister, and I had come from somewhere before, and I was wearing pants, but I was wearing these shoes. They're almost like a loafer, but they were black, shiny, blocky shoes. You know what I mean? Kind of like a loafer. I don't know if you know what I mean, but if you look up loafer, you'll probably find what I'm talking about. But they had a blocky heel. They were black, and I friggin' love these shoes, and I still love these shoes. I wear these shoes all the time because I feel like they have kind of a classy, casual vibe, and I like that. That's my style. That's my vibe. So anyway, we went to the store and my sisters were with me, and we walked past this group of younger people. They were probably high school age, probably freshman, sophomore age. And we walk past them. I'm totally minding my business, not even thinking about them. And as we walk past them, my sister goes, "You know they were laughing at you, right?" And I was like, "What?" And she was like, they were looking at your shoes and laughing. And, what are you gonna do? I mean, I just shrugged and I was like, "Oh, okay." I mean, whatever. I mean, it made me like look down at my shoes and like think for a second, but that's about it. I didn't really like think it through too hard, So I just thought about that, and it just brought me right back to high school. Like, high school me would have probably never worn those shoes ever again. High school me probably would have been like, "This isn't cool. I can't wear this. People are gonna freaking laugh. It must look crazy." But now me as an adult, as someone who's accepted like those things that I like, and those things that and confident in my instinct on like the things that I like to wear, I just shrug it off and go, "Who cares?" So that's something that brought me right back to high school. I did not enjoy that, but it was an interesting thing. It opened my eyes and made me realize, like, oh, wow, I'm starting to accept these things about myself. If you're in high school, be nice. That's my advice to anybody. Everyone has their different things, and I feel like we're getting a little bit better with this, but everyone has their different thing that they like, thing that they enjoy, thing that they are passionate about. And it might be clothing, they might be into fashion, they might be like into stuff that maybe other people don't understand. They might love to put an outfit together, and it might look funky and it might look weird, but this is what they like to do, and this is something that they're interested in, and they're willing to put these clothes on and go out into the world and like show people that, whatever. Point is, be nice, because sometimes these things affect people way deeper than you think. People might hold these things close to them for a while, and it might take them a long time to release those things and like stop thinking about those things. And so just be nice. People have their things, and if you're talking negatively about someone's passion or someone's like interest, it could honestly hurt them deeper than what you think. And for you, it might just be like, oh, whatever, who cares? But people carry things for a long time. So again, if you're in high school, be nice. Be nice to your peers, please, okay? Coming from someone who took a while to finally accept those things about themselves. Accept you're weird. It is extremely important, and it helps you grow, and it makes you feel so much more confident in yourself. Honestly, genuinely, like, don't let anybody else, everybody else doesn't understand the ideas that you have in your mind. So if you're weird quality, I'm doing air quotes right now because weird is not, it shouldn't be such a negative thing. If your weird thing is starting a YouTube channel, but you're worried about how people are going to perceive you, think about that, right? Kind of just accept it, go with it, and start doing whatever it is that you want to do, because that's something that I realized, that's something that I had to do. And now I'm posting on social media, I'm doing whatever, I'm doing the things that I wanted to do without even thinking, Yeah, there's still those things that I think about, and it's just like, oh, how are people gonna take this? What if someone from high school finds this, And what if they're thinking about what I post, and what if they think that it's weird? I've made another post on TikTok, and I said, if people are making fun of you, right, who cares? Because first of all, that's their problem, right? But if people are making fun of you behind your back without you even knowing, really, who cares? First of all, they might not even be making fun of you. You might be making it up in your head. But if they actually are, really, who cares? Who cares? Just do whatever it is that you want to do, and they're not going to matter. Anyway, period. Point blank. Wow, I actually talked today, and I feel good. I feel happy that I did. I've been having so much trouble getting words out lately, and I said that in the beginning of the episode, but man, I've been having such an issue getting words out. Like, I don't know why, and it's been so frustrating. I didn't post last week. I apologize. Okay, I think we're good. The bird's done. I'm so sorry. No, but it's been so frustrating. I didn't post on my last Thursday because I just didn't have anything to post. I didn't have any content. I didn't have the content that I thought was good enough, I I was being very hard on myself. This bird wants to be in the podcast with us. Maybe we should invite the bird. But that's it. I'm done. I digress. Thank you for listening to this episode. If you liked it, please let me know what you think about it. I would love if you did. If you want to follow me on my socials for this podcast, my TikTok for this podcast is Introverts Talk 2 Podcast, just spelled right out. And my Instagram for the podcast is Introverts Talk 2. Again, spelled right out, just like the name. So if you are new, thank you for clicking. If you are someone that has listened to the podcast already, thank you for coming back. I really do appreciate it. And I hope to have you listening to the next episode. Okay, my name is Kirsten, your host. And I'm done talking. I digress. Goodbye. Why did I sing that? All right, bye. I'm done.